But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Hi, everyone. This is Tim of the Online Big Blue, bringing the best in New York Giants sports talk entertainment. Those are the words from Rocky Balboa from the movie Rocky Balboa. Kind of an apropos name for a movie named after a guy named Rocky Balboa. I want to talk about Saquon Barkley today. I want to talk about WanDale Robinson. I want to talk about day 2 of the Giant minicamp. And I really don't want to talk too much about day two of the Giant minicamp because you know what? It doesn't really mean anything. You can get all the pomp, you can get all the circumstance, but until we get on the pads, until we get into training camp, that's when I'll get excited. I was doing some perusing on the Twitter sphere, and I came across a couple articles about WanDale Robinson. And one of them was by Christopher Knox of Bleacher Report. It has listed WanDale Robinson as one of his players who won't live up to all the hype. And now he sits there and writes, the 2021 Bills ranked 5th offense in total offense, with Allen leading the charge. And Daboll's 3 previous offensive coordinator trips with the Browns in 2010 and Dolphins in 2011 and the Chiefs in 2012, his offense ranked 29th, 22nd, 24th, respectively. Daniel Jones is not Josh Allen. The Giants should expect more of a middle-of-the-pack offense than an elite one. If you're going to take the time for the Giants offense really to come together, it's going to take time for WanDale Robinson to carve out a significant role. It all adds up to an underwhelming rookie campaign for the New York Giants second-round pick. I don't buy that. I don't. I really don't buy that. Now, I can totally understand where Knox is coming from in reference to Daboll's 3 previous stops as offensive coordinators, because I've said this before. You take away the Josh Allen years, his resume is not overly impressive. But I'm not putting the total success of WanDale Robinson on the head coach and Daniel Jones. You have to put some of this success on the kid himself. Evidently, he's a very hard worker. Evidently, he's a good kid. I've said it before. He's kind of the anti-Kadarius Toney. And I think finding a role for him is going to be easier than some people think. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I was in love with the pick. I wasn't. I'm still not. I still think there was better talent at the second round where we picked him up. But you know what? That's gone. That's neither here nor there. So you have him on the team. You need to find a spot for him. You need to find something for him to do. And that's what you need to look at. He can be used in many forms in this offense. And I also look at sometimes the media in general and how they perceive Daboll because of his previous stops. And it's
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
It's the lack of faith that they have in him. You know, sometimes it takes you a little bit of time to maturate into your career and find your spot. So maybe the whole Josh Allen experience was some of Daboll's doing, and maybe it's not. We'll know this year. But in regards to WanDale, you can put him in the slot. You can move him out of the backfield. I wouldn't keep him out on the edge too much because at his size, he's probably going to be overwhelmed at times when you look at he's 5'8", 178 pounds. But you can use him in a myriad of different offensive alignments. You could put him, I've said this before, I would not be shocked if you see a backfield one day, and I always laugh because maybe we're going on the wishbone, but I would not be shocked if you see Daniel Jones, Kadarius Toney, Saquon Barkley, and WanDale Robinson all in the same backfield. I wouldn't be stunned. And I think he has more of an opportunity to show his wares this season, outside of injury, than our old buddy Kadarius Toney had. Now, I don't think he's going to be as electrifying as Kadarius Toney can be. And his route running, the biggest concern I have with the WanDale Robinson, it's the same thing I have with Kadarius Toney. His route running is not what I would say is the best. And I've pointed out many times before, Tyreek Hill was a terrible route runner coming into the league, but he also had the ability to return punts and return kicks. And it's not a good combination if you have 2 guys who are not known as very good route runners. A good route ran well can freeze the defense. So hopefully he'll be working on that. But I don't think he's going to underwhelm this year because as a second-round pick, while you have high expectations, it's not like he's a first-round pick. It's not like we've taken him 8th overall. And that's what we need to look at. I have faith enough in Daboll to put Wan'Dale in the right spots in this offense. He may only play 50% of the snaps or 40% of the snaps, but I think they're going to create opportunities for him, potentially also use him as a decoy with the same thing with Kadarius Toney. And I think he's going to return punts and kicks. So he's going to kind of be that jack of all trades player that we always talk about. And I think that's what's good. I think if you look at tempered expectations, I think that's what you have to look at with Robinson. I'm not saying that he's going to be a bust, but I'm saying you have to temper expectations because of the fact that this is a new offense. This is a different quarterback. You have a new offensive coordinator. You have a new head coach, and you have a very different offensive line. But if you go with the short style passing game, and go a little bit run heavy and drop some balls out of the backfield, I think he's going to fit in well. If he has 40 catches for 400, 500 yards and 6 touchdowns, I think that's a success. And I would be happy with that and hopefully see growth in year 2. So I don't really see that bust label following him. I think he may have, like I said, I don't know if he's going to be somewhere between Tavon Austin and Percy Harvin. We'll have to find out. I would be happy if he was somewhere in between there and he had a nice giant career. That's fine. But like I said, it's his rookie season. Let's just kind of wait and see what happens. Saquon Barkley is coming out saying that he's trusting his body again and he's starting to get his swagger back. Swagger by Old Spice. He said he didn't fully trust his right knee after he tore the ACL and meniscus early in 2020, and it contributed to his struggles last year. I'm now starting to get my swagger back, said Barkley. It'll be just in time because Barkley, of course, is 25. He's on his, he's set to play this season on his 5th-year rookie option. So it's time. It's time to move forward, especially for the guy that was a 2nd overall pick back in 2018, offensive rookie of the year in his first season. And he had, what do you have? A combined total. How many yards did he? What was his yardage? He had a combined total that rookie season of 2,028 yards. 2,028 yards. He's had a combined total of 2,391 yards in the last 3 seasons. He had an ankle injury in 19, followed by the torn ACL in 2020. So you know what? It's time to get the swagger back. It's time to get right on track. And I've said this before. You do not anyone who's had a major knee injury, and I've had 2, you don't fully trust your knee right away. It takes time. And a lot of times you end up getting hurt more or hurt again like I did because of the fact that you don't trust your knee, you don't trust your ability, and you don't trust the health. And it makes you do things you wouldn't normally do. It makes you stutter. It makes you stop. When it doesn't, even though you could be 100% healthy, you just don't feel right mentally. That causes more of a chance to re-injure the leg or the knee or the ankle. And him coming out saying that he is now ready, willing, and able, and he's trusting his body. And evidently he's going to be running more routes out of the backfield. And Dable came out and says the routes we were asking him to run, his quickness, his ability to get in and out of the breaks with his long speed, it looks good. And that's what Dable said about Barkley this spring. He's a talented guy. I never considered Barkley a bust. Or I'm never going to consider him a bust because if you take a look at his first 2 seasons, I mean, you cannot account for injuries. You can't. I mean, there's nothing you can do about injuries. He did play 16 games in 18. He played 13 in 19. He played 2. Then he played 13 this year. And like I said, you could see that he never fully retrusted his ability. You could tell that. And like I said, the second year after an ACL is always your best year. Is usually the year you come back and you are ready to rock and roll. And I think that's exactly what we're looking at with Barkley. Now, do we have any mini camp reports? Because those are always fun. Not. Because who really cares until we start to get into when actually you can hit somebody. But Daniel Jones threw 3 touchdowns in a red zone, 1 to each Saquon Barkley and wide receivers WanDale Robinson and J.C. Bullard. Barkley said after practice, he hasn't been moving around the offense this much since his college days at Penn State. Says that dude, he's all over the place, says Julian Love. There's a lot more than I know of him. I know he's really excited for that. It's fine. Tyrod Taylor also accounted for 2 touchdowns, 1 in the air and 1 on the ground, 1 on his formal. He dropped a perfect pass to Richie James, who made an equally impressive over-the-shoulder catch in the end zone. He's got quickness. Dable said of James. He has the ability to play the inside, the outside. We really liked him, and we really liked him. Also, wide receiver Austin Pearl caught a touchdown from Davis Webb. Top plays were David Sills and Robert Foster making terrific sideline catches. You had Leonard Williams batting down a pass at the line of scrimmage. Graham Gano, of course, wearing his number 9, capped the practice with a long field goal that canceled post-practice runnings from the team. I can't wait till we get into I can't wait till we actually get into training camp so we can actually talk about some real football. Got a big surprise coming up on Friday. I'm not going to tell you anyone that is till later today. And again, this is Tim with the Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could if you subscribe, ring that bell, that'd be awesome.